Today we'll be discussing the rankings of the top 10 strongest characters in Hazbin Hotel. Also, when I rank these characters, I will include their fighting capabilities, not just how powerful they are. At the 10th spot, we got Nifty. Besides her being an overlord and the power it takes to that level, she was able to handle Velvet, did decently well against Val, and I put her over Husker because he didn't do as well against Velvet compared to Nifty, who did pretty well against both Vs, as we can basically see. And it took like Husker and Cherry Bomb to take down Val. In the 9th spot, we got Loot. Though you could probably switch her with 8, but I put Loot at 9 because though she held her own in Season 2 with like a Heartbreak buff against Vaggie, as Vaggie struggled more compared to the first time they fought, but she did lose against Vaggie in Season 1, but is still one of Adam's top tier, so she'd be taking the 9th spot. And in 8th place, you guessed it, it's Vaggie. As stated before with Loot, it's the same ordeal, and actually kind of the reason Loot is in the 9th spot. If Vaggie beats Loot in Season 1, and in Season 2 in the final battle fought the Vs instead of Loot, and, well, kind of struggled, because, well, all the other characters struggled, then that would put all the Vs, Nifty, and Husker above Loot. So, because in Season 2, Vaggie was kind of struggling against Loot in that fight, and Loot was kind of winning, that's why we're putting Vaggie at 8 and Loot at 9. In the 7th spot, we got Carmilla Carmine, creating the super weapon that could channel Lucifer's power. And besides the fact that she could totally use the power for herself, and by the way, you might be saying it wouldn't really count as it's not her power, but for example, if you see in Beyblade, I know, weird comparison, El Drago and Nemesis uses the power of other bays to become strong. It's the same with Carmilla, her power being, her brain to be able to replicate and contain these powers and use it, right? No one was able to, do this kind of feat. Well, besides Serpentius, which is why Adam states that could have been ugly. But, as he also states, without the X-Boys, he isn't much of a challenge besides his gadgets. But Carmilla Carmine, she has her gadget and fighting capability, even training Vaggie, who, well, defeated Loot and, was able to handle her own against Loot, And in 6th place, we have Rosie. The same Rosie who gave Alistair her powers and the staff and all that. It's like boosting a friend's account on Valorant or freaking League, he gave him powers to be strong. Yo, you are not actually diamond level. Anyways, but because we haven't seen much fighting with her and how strong she is, all that we know, she was able to put a deal on Alistair. The most I can do is put her at 6 since we haven't seen much. And in the 5th spot, we got Vox, the strongest quote unquote overlord after Charlie basically bestowed powers onto Vox. Very similar to how Alistair was bestowed power by Rosie, but Vox being the strongest sinner in hell puts him above everyone else as well as Alistair. But he still struggled against Alistair, a weakened Alistair, which is why he'll be at 5. And in the 4th spot, we got Charlie Morningstar, having better feats than Vox, being able to damage Adam. Though it was kind of a surprise attack, she was still able to land blows, a fatal one, to a very powerful character. Though very powerful, she's still a very inexperienced fighter, which is why she's at 4. If she had a better or higher combat IQ, or close to a combat IQ as Vaggie or Loot, she'd definitely be higher than the person in 3rd place. Which leads to the 3rd spot. Yes, Alistair. Alistair is stronger than Charlie, being able to dodge Adam's attack, which Charlie struggled against doing, right? Showing huge battle IQ, and if Alistair fought with an angelic weapon instead of his own powers, he would have actually done damage to Adam. Every time he landed an attack, he could have landed it with an angelic weapon, compared to Charlie, who had an equivalent of an angelic weapon, was able to land a good blow on Adam, right? Being able to stab him compared to Alistair, who was able to land multiple but didn't do damage because it wasn't an angelic weapon. Unfortunately, he's not. You know, if it was a, I know, I keep saying if. Oh my god, potential man. Oh my god, bro, stealing power, being all potential and whatever. Fuck. How can a character be so strong but so weak? What the hell? And then he also defeated Vox, the strongest sinner, who at this point the power to be stronger than Alistair. But as we've shown, power and battle IQ is not in the same, right? He was losing to a weakened, no staff, injured Alistair, right? Was able to handle such a guy. But like, oh my god, but then oh, I wish I could have added him in this the top 10. Shockwave. He would have taken the third spot and everyone would have went down, you know, if that were the case, you know. And in the second spot, we got Adam. Though his battle IQ isn't as high as Alistair, his power output goes way above battle IQ in between Alistair and Adam. And with his level of battle IQ being mediocre was enough to defeat Alistair, you know? So that would obviously put him above 2, right? Who Alistair is stronger than everyone else. But then unfortunately Lucifer showed up and he was able to like, he was kind of toying with him, but he did okay, bro. He did okay against Lucifer. And at the top spot, we got Lucifer, who beat Adam, who's stronger than everyone else. You know, the one who felt tickles, you know, the same tickles that broke the barrier of 5 guardians or like angels protecting the barrier of heaven, who we can assume, you know, are very powerful, because just like hell in the Helliverse, which has 7 layers, heaven also has 7 layers. And those 5 angels was able to put a barrier around all those 7 rings. So that is like even stronger than like defeating Adam, or like even crazier of a feat than defeating Adam, you know? It's safe to say he's at number 1. And who knows, he might be in the number 1 spot for a while. Anyways, this is what I believe to be the top 10 strongest. I would include Inzestial, but we haven't seen much power of him besides like the talk about him and like how people are scared of him, and we haven't seen him in fighting nor his powers and all that. But what we can say, he's like somewhere near Carmilla's level or Alistair's level, since Alistair was pretty like, hey, if you want to like keep your shell, stay back. Don't do anything crazy. This guy's like the real deal. This guy is me if I wasn't given powers. Basically what he was saying, you know? And in the future top 10, this list would probably change a lot. You know, like most of these characters won't be on here by like, I don't know, like season 4 or 5. I could only see Lucifer, Adam, Charlie, and Alistair being on you know, the top 10 list, you know, with like Lucifer somewhere above Adam, Charlie, and Alistair. Charlie being above Adam and Alistair. Yes, I'm saying in the future, Charlie is gonna be stronger than Adam and Alistair. And by this time, I'd say Alistair would be, or it would be debatable who is stronger between Alistair and Adam. Like, Alistair would have good enough feats, be able to be considered to, like, take on the level of Adam or be stronger, you know? It would be somewhere around there. Anyways, that's all for the video. Thanks for watching. It's a more short video, but I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. In the next video, I think I'm going to do a versus battle, because as I was writing this, it gave me and I was watching I don't know if you've seen the Ash versus Yugi fight, and it gave me like an idea to like do. You'll find out who will be in the versus battle late in the next video. But anyways, see you in the next.